What is up, beer friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Tour of Beers, the Beer Detour, that is. I am your faithful and forever host, Mr. Miguel Brambilla. So, I've been counting down to Christmas, of course, that's what we're here for, and this year I thought it'd be cool to do a Beer of the Year award, but that's going to be next week. This week, we're doing a Worst Beer of 2022 countdown, top 5 worst beers of 2022, but there's only one problem. I didn't have time to make a list. I know, sad. But not to worry, I think I have an idea. Just one sec, guys. Okay, I think I got it. Let's try this. And it's really something that one second, guys. The heck? Yeah. Hey, is this me from 3 months ago? Yeah, who's this? Yeah, this is you from 3 months in the future. Oh, what's up? Hey, a quick question. Can you do me a favor? Can you start compiling a list of the worst beers of 2022 for me and send that over? Seriously? That's the best thing you could come up with in 3 months? All right, well, yeah, I'll get it done. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. Oh, there we are. All right, so let's do this. What's up, beer friends? Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're breaking down the worst beers of 2022 on Beer Detour. So if you're not familiar with the channel, here's what I'll let you know. I do beer reviews, beer festivals, beer events, beer ratings, fun beer skits, everything and anything beer related is on the Beer Detour channel. So do me a huge favor. Go ahead and subscribe right now. So today, I thought it'd be fun and funny to break down the top 5 worst beers that I reviewed this year. Now, next week's episode is very highly anticipated because I'm going to be doing the Beer of the Year. And that's a new thing. I just came up with that at the very end. But I think I'm going to be doing that from now on. I think that's something that a lot of people are going to be looking forward to the end of the year. So we'll let that for next year. For next week. I'll leave that for next week. And we'll continue today with the worst beers of 2022 as determined by myself, of course. So, one thing I want to preface this by saying is, though, although I think these are the worst beers I reviewed this year, they're not necessarily the worst beers that are out there, and it's my job and my duty to review everything and anything. So I review light beer, Pilsner, Stouts, Porters, IPAs, imported beer, domestic beer, yeah, anything and everything, just strange, weird, quirky. I'm going to review it. So I know moving into 2023, like I always do, it's always a fun time to look for new and creative types of beers to review for you guys. So let's get this party started. At the number 5 position, at the number 5 worst beers of 2022, we have Carlsberg Pilsner. Now, this one was really early on in the year, and I had high praise for this one because when I went to go look for it, I found that it was listed as probably the best beer in the world. Now, that's a lot of high praise coming from that company, and when I reviewed it, I didn't think that it was the best beer. In fact, it was one of the worst beers that I've ever tried. Now, this was an imported beer. I think it was from Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that. I don't remember. But it was an imported beer. So some of the things that I didn't like about it was that it was grainy. It was a little bit salty. It was light, but it was very rough. It didn't have a good aftertaste. It was sort of a salty, acidic, very grainy type of flavor to it. And maybe that's because it was imported. Maybe if you get it straight from the draft there, maybe it's a little bit better. But the one that I tried, I mean, it just didn't have any flavor. There was no flavor profile there. There was no notes. It was like a very light tasting beer. So there was like no depth in there whatsoever. So that's at the number 5 spot. At the number 4 spot, this one is Bayern Brewing's Dragon's Breath. Now, I will preface this by saying that I had high hopes for this one as well because it actually looked cool. I didn't think it was going to be good reading the description of it, but it just looked cool. And sometimes that's what you kind of anticipate because of the logo or the design of the can or the brewing company. You kind of anticipate, wow, this one looks like it's going to be really good, but it really wasn't. It just disappointed me all the way around. It did have a very, very strong malty taste. a weird aftertaste and a very deep, dark taste to it all around. So I'm not the porter guy. I'm not the stout guy. I'm not the brown ale guy. I do like red ales, strangely enough, but that sort of toffee caramel flavor that you get with some of these types of beers, it's not something that I enjoy. And that's to each its own. But for me, it just did not do it. So that one was at the number 4 spot. It just had a very rough, malty aftertaste, coffee flavor notes to it that I did not like whatsoever. All right, moving forward at the number 3 spot, we have Hopworks Brewing Great Gourds of Fire. Sorry about that. It took me a while. I was starting to remember. Great Gourds of Fire. Yes, that's the pumpkin flavored one. Now, every year, around September, or August, or November, I always have to try at least one pumpkin beer for the crowd. I know you guys like them, but I personally don't. I don't like them. That pumpkin flavor is already sort of a bitter, weird vegetable type of flavor that I'm not used to with normal IPAs or just regular Pilsners or lagers. So it throws me off my game, but I'm also just not used to that very specific pumpkin seed, pumpkin flavor with spices thrown in there, because it always has like cranberry or some type of weird sauce in there that they throw in some mixture that these brewing companies try to be slick with. And this one just did not do it for me. I like the logo design. I thought it was going to be a good idea, and I was thinking maybe this is the year that I'm going to like a pumpkin beer. Sadly, it was not. It was not. It just didn't do it for me. Very disappointing. The flavor lacked completely there. There was no flavor profile there. It just was pumpkin and puree type of flavor to it, and it really didn't have any distinctive notes to it. Just regular pumpkin beer. Just didn't do it for me, and I guess I'm going to have to continue my search in 2023 for something that I might like. I don't know. We'll see. I always fall into the pumpkin flavor trap that these craft breweries do around August and September and November for some reason. We're getting closer and closer to the number 1. At the number 2, let me let you guys know, the number 2 and number 1 are interchangeable. They were both really, really bad, but there's only one that stands out more than the other. So at the number 2 spot, this is Organic Chocolate Stout, and it's from a company called Samuel Smith Brewing. Now, I will say with this one also that I didn't foresee what was to happen when I tried this. I thought I was going to have a better understanding of it. It was not the case. So when I grabbed this one, I grabbed it because it looked very interesting. It was all organic. I said, oh, made all with organic ingredients, and it looked like a very, niche type of branding and brewery. And I'm like, I've never seen this. I've never tried this. Now, I should have known better because it was listed right off the bat, chocolate stout. And then throw organic in there, organic chocolate stout. 3 words that, in my opinion, should never go together. Now, I know that a lot of you guys like stouts. I know a lot of you guys like porters and stouts and heavy beers. I do not. So it's going to be to my personal taste when I tell you that this one, I think I made a meme out of this, or yeah, I think I made a clip and I listed it and it got good reviews. So that was a good clip, I guess. But otherwise, it just did not go over well. Insert clip here. Cheers, guys. Oh. Ah. Oh. Yeesh. Yikes. Wow. That's a strong taste. Very strong taste. See? Told you guys. So, yeah, this one has to be at the number 2 spot. Really, really bad. Just did not like the taste. And unfortunately, that comes at a cost when I'm reviewing stuff for you guys. That way you guys know how it tastes. And I'm going to do the duty for you guys. I'm going to do the duty of taste testing it in real time. And you guys are going to get my honest opinion every time. So every time I try out a beer for a beer review, it's the first time I'm trying it live for you guys. So my reaction is going to be just that, an honest reaction. So you can see my honest reaction to that was not so good. All right, so that's at the number 2 spot, the Organic Chocolate Stout from Samuel Smith Brewing. Not trying that again in 2023. Sorry, Samuel Smith. Moving forward, at the number 1, the number 1 spot for the worst beer of 2022, as reviewed by yours truly, is the Budlight Chelada Fuego Clamato Edition. So earlier on this year, I had the bright idea to think of an episode where I wanted to take 3 big brand micheladas, big brand companies that were out there making micheladas. Now, michelada is a specialty type of beer, and a lot of countries make a michelada. So they have a lot of different styles like tamarindo. They'll throw in candy in there. They'll throw in bacon. They'll throw in a lot of stuff in there. And I've always thought this to be a very craft beer because you have to kind of make it on the spot with different ingredients. So for a big brand company to kind of can this into something and put it out for the masses, well, I had to try it out for myself. So I got the top 3 that I found. The big brand beer companies out there made 3 different micheladas, and I tried them out to see which one was the best. And I was severely disappointed, just like you would expect. But one beer stood out more than the rest. Now, this beer, I've spit out a couple of beers, but this one, it just hangs that memory. You know when you have a really bad taste in your mouth and you're left with a really bad taste in your mouth? Well, this one stayed for like a week. That's how bad it was. Everybody? Oh, 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 oh. As you can tell by my face, and my reaction. Wow. Whew. Okay. Definitely spicy. It has this sort of onion, garlic flavor that I can't describe, but I don't want to taste it again. You want to talk about onion. You want to talk about garlic. You want to talk about tomato. And then you put that all into a beer. Oh, that was really bad. And then it had like a spiciness to it, but the spice wasn't even good, which is strange. It was like a spicy clamato with onion and garlic thrown in there, and I don't know what other concoction Budlight made. I'm sorry, Budlight. That one was no bueno. This is coming from a Mexican American himself. This was no good. Do not buy Budlight Chelada Fuego. I guarantee you will not like it. So yeah, that kind of traumatized me. That really traumatized me, guys. So there we have it. That's my list for the top 5 worst beers of 2022. Next week's episode is the beer of the year. Very highly anticipated, so stay tuned for next week's episode. That's it for this week's episode, though. Thank you guys for joining me on another beer adventure, another countdown, and I will see you guys next time. See you guys.